Yo, what's up, my name is ISKO, and today we are gonna predict the top 8 race in the Champions League, which is one of the craziest races of all time in this competition. Tomorrow, all of these games are gonna be played all together at the same time, and there is 13 teams that can make the automatic qualification through the top 8 in the Champions League group stage. We are going to talk about the games, we are going to talk about the teams that can make it, because we can see Barcelona, Manchester City, even the finalists of last year, Inter Milan, seeing themselves outside of the top 8. So let's predict, and if you enjoyed this video, like, comment and subscribe, and please let me know down below who do you think is gonna make the top 8. So first of all, I'm gonna introduce you to the result simulator, which is gonna help us today predict the table, and actually gonna show us how the table will look like after I predict every single game. But first of all, let's establish the 3 teams that are basically almost guaranteed to qualify, which is gonna be Arsenal, which are definitely qualified, and they are gonna be destroying Kairat Almaty, in my opinion, humbly. Yeah, Kairat Almaty, that's your funeral. Bayern Munich, who is facing PSV, and if they get 1 point, they secure a top 2 finish, and Real Madrid, which are on 15 points alongside Liverpool as well, which Liverpool have Karabakh and Real Madrid. I do think that Arsenal, Bayern and Real Madrid will finish at the top 3, and I think Liverpool will also have an automatic place in the top 8 because Karabakh, let's be honest, I think they can give them a game, but the game is at Anfield. So these 3 to 4 teams, I'm going to predict that these are done in the top 8. I want to move on to the spicy stuff, where Tottenham, Paris Saint-Germain, the finalists, the winners of last year, alongside Inter, Newcastle, Chelsea, Sporting, Barcelona, Man City, Atletico, Atalanta, and even Juventus, that can still make the top 8. Now let's just quickly predict the results of the top 4 that I said before, which is gonna be Liverpool against Karabakh, which I think genuinely is gonna be 3-1. I think this will be a brackage from Liverpool. Then Arsenal, I don't really care about this game, give me 4-0. I think Benfica will be a little bit tough for Real Madrid, so I'm gonna say 2-1 for Real Madrid, just beating the OG Jose Mourinho, of course, shout out to Mourinho. And PSV and Bayern, I do think PSV, they will give them a fight, so I do think it can be a draw that will still see Bayern finish in the top 2, so I'm gonna say 1-1. That's the top 4 teams, in my opinion, already done. I'm gonna go in depth in this game later on in the video, because I do wanna get into the top 8 first. So if you wanna know my full prediction for this game, how will the lineup look like, make sure to stay tuned in until the end. Now let's move on to the first game that actually really matters in the top 8 race, which is Paris Saint-Germain and Newcastle. This is probably one of the biggest fixtures of all the games that are being played tomorrow, which is PSG and Newcastle. PSG, of course, having the home advantage, which I do think will play a huge part in this game. But as we can see, Newcastle, especially in the league, are not doing great. They have not been up to par from last season as well. They just concede too many goals, and the missing of Isaac is that they don't create enough chances, and if they do, Woltemade usually looks out of place as a complete number 9. He's more of a link-up type of player. He, honestly, in my opinion, he should shoot more. He should take more opportunities to shoot on goal. But yeah, they, in my opinion, they didn't strengthen enough, and they bought a little bit of a risk with Woltemade. But I do think it's still gonna be a tough game for Paris Saint-Germain, which have not been sensational this year, as we all know. They lost the last game to Sporting, which we will get onto as well, which I do think is going to be the dark horror of this tournament. But PSG still lead by 2 points in Ligue 1, and of course they have a much better team now with the injuries from like Kvara, Dembele, Doué even, which have finally returned and started to return in the upcoming weeks, of course. And yeah, I do think just because of the home advantage of PSG and them having their full squad basically back, I do think PSG will take this game. But it will be narrow. It's going to be a 2-1 win for PSG. So let's just put that in to the results simulator. It's going to be a 2-1 for PSG. I'm predicting a really good game from Ousmane Dembele. Ousmane Dembele, we all know, last season, he always performs for PSG in the UCL. That would put Paris Saint-Germain on 16 points. Now, another huge game in this match week, which will be Manchester City versus Galatasaray. And unfortunately, Galatasaray missing out on the home advantage in this game, which changes a lot. But Manchester City lost to Bodo Glimt, lost to Manchester United. Pretty good performance against Wolves, and as Pep Guardiola said in his press conferences, I figured it out, and this brother figured it out and benched Haaland. I mean, he's a genius. Pep is a genius, and I do think if it comes down to somebody making the top 8, this team has enough quality, and they are not playing away at Galatasaray. We have to remember that. They have enough quality to beat this Galatasaray team. Now, this can only change, in my opinion, if Sane, Osimhen pull out something spectacular. If Sane, I don't know, scores a banger first goal, and they really play up to their best standard. Once again, I think if Haaland comes in, scores first, Doku has a great game, Foden is on it, I think City will have too much and the home advantage. Once again, as I said before with PSG, will be just a bit too much for Galatasaray. I do think Galatasaray, still, they had a great team for their standard, for the Turkish league. I think this is a great team, especially Osimhen, Sane, even Torreira has been doing okay. I do think this is going to be a 3-2 win. This is going to be a thriller. Once again, City have not been that good defensively. They have many youngsters in there. Guehi just came in, so I do think they will concede goals. But if Haaland plays, I think he will score at least 2 goals in this game, and they will go through if they get this goal difference. I think they need to score a lot of goals and not let Galatasaray score too much, because if it gets to a point where it's 2-2 in the 80th minute and Galatasaray can hold on to a point, I think they can do it. But I am going to predict a 3-2. Now, that's City making top 6 right now. The next game, once again, huge for this, is Dortmund versus Inter. I'm going to stay on this because I want to look at, they are right next to each other. Dortmund right outside of the range to really make it. I think they are a bit too far away from the top 8 now because they are on 11 points and only 4 goal difference. I do think they will miss out. But Inter have not been looking that great. Arsenal dealt with them completely fine, even at the San Siro. But let's be honest, guys, Inter is still doing enough to make it into the top 8. Is it gonna be... It's a really tough game to predict. Once again, if you look at it, Dortmund is playing at home. They lost to Spurs at home, which doesn't give me too much confidence. But from the performance I saw from Inter against Arsenal, I'm gonna say this game will finish in a boring 1-1 draw, which will see Inter just miss out on the top 8 and Dortmund making the knockout phase playoff places in the top 24 to top 12, of course. Now, Atletico Madrid and Bodo Glimt with alongside Villarreal and Leverkusen. Once again, I think Villarreal are awful in this competition. They will get dominated by Leverkusen. You could tell me whatever you want, but Villarreal have been atrocious this year. I think they will lose. It doesn't make too much difference in the top 8 race. Now, Atletico, of course, they see themselves 13 in the real table. Of course, they are much higher now, but they have a really good chance of making it because they have Bodo Glimt. And if you think Bodo Glimt is going to be doing a back-to-back like they did against City, that great game when they won 3-1, I don't think that's the case. They were at home, City was atrocious, and Atletico Madrid at home, I think they will do it. I think they have a really strong chance of making it as well. I think this is going to be a really good game by Atletico. They don't score too many goals, so I'm going to say 2-0. I don't think Bodo Glimt is even going to score. Now, for the team that some of you might be, waiting. I know I have a really split audience of Real Madrid fans and mostly Barca fans, mostly these 2 La Liga teams, of course, which is the Barcelona and Copenhagen game. Now, Barcelona, I do think, is going to be winning this game. But I don't think that's really the question. How many goals can Barcelona put up and can they keep a clean sheet? Now, if you look at the suspended players, Frenkie de Jong is not going to be playing, Ferran Torres is not going to be playing, and the huge miss of Pedri. Now, that's 2 crucial midfielders in your midfield, Barcelona fans. So, I want to know, firstly, your opinion on this. But my opinion is that you will concede at least 1 goal. At least 1 goal be going through because you are going to be having problems in that midfield. When Pedri misses, Already, Frankie and Casado are having problems against the last game against Real Oviedo in La Liga. You should have, or at least could have, conceded against Real Oviedo. I'm not saying you were particularly bad, but in that first half, they were giving you problems. I do think Copenhagen is much better than flipping Oviedo. So I'm going to say that this game is going to end in a 3-1 win for Barcelona, which is still a really good result, but it can cost you. It can really cost you if you concede that goal to Copenhagen. If you let them score first, by the way, it's going to be really tough. It's going to be really tough. But if we just look at the table now, Arsenal first, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, and Liverpool, as I said, I think they are 100% making it. PSG see themselves 5th, 6th Barcelona, 7th Atleti, 8th Man City. But we have a lot to predict. Now, the next game is going to be Frankfurt and Tottenham. Another huge game for this. Tottenham, unfortunately, not getting once again the home advantage, which is going to be huge. If Frankfurt can do something, it's going to change the whole top 8. Because Tottenham, in the real table, if we just look at it, they are now sitting in 5th, which is so good for their chances of making top 8. They can be another team of just, Frankfurt have not been looking particularly great in the Bundesliga in the last, 10 months. And in the Champions League, I do think they sit outside of the qualification, which, yes, they are 33rd. I don't even think they have a chance of making it. No, they are completely out of it. So I do think Tottenham is going to win, but it's going to be close. I am going to predict a narrow 1-0 win away, because Tottenham, once again, in the Champions League, different from the team in the Premier League. In the Premier League, I genuinely couldn't believe what they are doing in the Prem. They are going to Burnley, this and that, but they have been pretty okay in the Champions League, in my opinion. And I do think they will just have just that little bit of more experience, and they will want to make it. Because if Frank loses this game and they drop out of the top 8, I do think there is a high possibility of him getting sacked. Even now, it's a high possibility. So, yeah, they will see this game out. Marseille, Club Brugge, I think this is a really easy game, because I do think this screams of a draw. This screams of a draw. I'm going to say 1-1. I do think these teams are, really comparable in terms of how they play. They will cancel each other out a lot. I do think it's going to be a bit of a boring game for a casual. I don't think there's going to be too many casuals watching. Yeah, I think 1-1 is fair, and this will see both teams making it so far. Now, Ajax Olympiacos, I couldn't care less. I'm going to say 1-1. I'm going to say 1-1. Once again, Ajax have been doing okay. Olympiacos have put up great performances, for example, against us, Real Madrid, and they have not been looking that bad in the Champions League. This is the game that we have to get into now. Napoli and Chelsea. Chelsea, of course, their last game winning 3-1 against Crystal Palace, but Napoli getting beat down by Juve. Oh my goodness, this was a complete demolition. They taught them how to play football with David, Yildiz and Kostic or on the score sheet. But they are at home against Chelsea, which I do think it's going to be a huge, huge advantage. Chelsea, on the other hand, I think have a much, much better team. They have better players overall. I think they have more stars. I think they do have more players coming off the bench that can help them win the game. Now, this all depends on, which I haven't seen, if Cole Palmer is available. He isn't. Cole Palmer isn't available. Cole will still injured, and that's about it, because Tosin, that's okay. Esugo and Lavia are not really playing. And yeah, Mudryk, oh my goodness, this brother is still alive, Mikhailo Mudryk, yeah, we are not counting on you, buddy. But this game is going to be, this is the toughest game, in my opinion, to predict. Because without Cole Palmer, completely changes my prediction. Completely changes my prediction. If Delap starts, I do think he is more of a striker to start against this defense. Because Conte's defense, you already know it's going to be good. Can Napoli score goals? That's my question. Can Napoli finally pull up and actually perform in the Champions League? Because right now, they are outside of the top 24, right? Or they are just... Yes, they are 25th. They are one place behind. So they will be fighting the same as Chelsea, because they are genuinely in the same situation, just outside of the top 24 and just making it in the top 8. I think this will be a fight until the end, but I'm going to go with the boys of Chelsea just on pure better quality overall on the team. But this will be a really good game. I'm gonna say 3-2 for Chelsea, which is gonna put them right at the end of top 8. And Napoli will not be making the top 24. Sorry, Napoli fans, if anybody's watching, you gotta hold it, man. Somebody gotta go, man. Yeah, Monaco is getting spanked by Juventus. Juventus has been on form. I'm gonna say 3-0 because they have a better defense than most of the teams, in my opinion, Juve in the Champions League. Now, Union SG Atalanta, another surprise in the Champions League. As you can see, Atalanta see themselves being in flipping 13th place, which I didn't expect, completely didn't expect, because their form in Serie A have not been that sensational, in my opinion. And yeah, this is a really good game for Atalanta, because Union SG, I mean, they are 32nd. They don't really do anything special in the Champions League. They have not been looking great in any of the games that I have seen them play. I think Atalanta will take care of business, and this will be a comfortable 2-0 win for Atalanta. I think Lukman will score as well if you want to bet something, man. But yeah, now, until my dark horse is finally here. Sporting is gonna be making the top 8. If it's even possible. That was my prediction at the start, which I thought can really truly happen, because I do think Athletic Bilbao are pathetic Bilbao right now. Pathetic. They lost to Sevilla 2-1. Sevilla are not great. But once again, they won against Atalanta. This team, I don't know. Anybody that knows Athletic Bilbao, they are right here, then they can be right here, they can be in the middle, they can be flipping Real Madrid standard, they can lose to flipping, I don't know, some third division team from Spain. They are all over the place. Yeah, like chaos, I would say. My brother, Sporting have been looking great in the Champions League. They beat City as well. They have, even PSG, wait, City, am I bugging or not? They beat PSG, yes, but maybe I'm bugging. They lost 3-1 to Sporting. Sorry, Bayern, of course. They won against... Who was the game that I'm thinking of? No, they drew against Juve. That's my bad. They drew against Juve, and they have a great chance of making the top 8, or at least finishing in the top places of the top 24th to the 9th place. Sorry. Now, I think Sporting will concede a goal, because it is at the Athletic Club Bilbao Stadium, of course. But I do think it's going to be a 2-1. This is going to be one of the best games of the match week 8 as well, or match week 8. Yeah, Sporting will be 9th. Oh my goodness. Sporting will be 9th. I do want to make them top 8, you know. I do want to make them top 8. I'm going to change my prediction. I'm going to go against my prediction. And I'm going to say Sporting will somehow score 4 goals. You can say I'm deluded. You can say whatever I want. Nah, that's crazy. Nah, that's crazy. What am I doing? Now, 2-1. This is going to be a draw. Chelsea, I'm sorry. This is going to be a draw. I have to be honest. I do think I overrated Chelsea here. I'm going to do 2-2. No, I'm going to do 2-2 here. Yes. Because I just think Sporting will have something, that little bit of fight to finally make it. And guys, let's be honest. The Champions League is full of upsets. And I do think, look, Napoli making it and Club Brugge not making it, it's more realistic than... Yeah, Sporting will make it, bro. Sporting is my dark horse. I have to stand behind it. I will stand behind it. Sporting will beat your ass, Athletic Bilbao. Trash Bilbao. You will get beat. Sporting, please make it, bro. And the last game, the best team in the Champions League, Slavia Prague, of course. We are not making shit. Yeah. Can Paphos make it? Am I gonna be shameless here? Is Paphos in terms of even close to making it? 6 points. So if they win, I'm gonna just give it to Paphos, because I do think that's just... Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Paphos. Because Slavia is just atrocious, man. We don't score goals. We concede basically everything we can. Slavia Prague, good run. We might finish last, bro. No, we can't actually. My bad. We can't finish last because Kairat Almaty and VRL are even worse. Thank you so much, guys. We are not finishing last. Yes. At least we made it, you know. Thank you for the participation. Thank you so much, man. So yeah, this will be my full prediction. In the top 24, it's going to be Napoli, Olympiacos, Paphos, PSV, Karabakh, Galatasaray, Marseille, Leverkusen. This is the unseeded knockout playoff places. Now, in the top 16, it's gonna be Dortmund, Inter, Newcastle, Chelsea, Juve, Atalanta, Man City, and Atleti, just missing out on top 8. And in the top 8, it's gonna be Sporting. Unfortunately, it's gonna be Barcelona, which I don't like at all, but I do think some of the teams are just gonna help them so much. Like the PSG Newcastle game, it helps them so much. Tottenham helps them. Atletico, if they don't get too many goals, it helps them. You know, that Chelsea Napoli game, once again, it's just a bit perfect for Barcelona not to make it, in my opinion. PSG is gonna make it, Tottenham is gonna make it, Liverpool, Real Madrid, Bayern, and Arsenal, of course, guaranteed to finish first in the league. So yeah, now let's go into the final prediction. This is gonna be the last thing of the video. Yes, I know it's long, bro. I know it's long. But if you're still watching, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. You know, I appreciate you so much for watching. Real Madrid against Benfica, my team, which I'm going to be doing a watch along for. Every single game is going to be watched on the channel. Please make sure to tune in. But this game is what I am going to be paying attention to, with alongside, of course, the Copenhagen game and the Barcelona game. I hope Copenhagen can give me something. Please, please give me something. Even though I predicted them to win, I'm gonna hate watch. You know how it goes, man. But this Benfica game against Real Madrid, I do think this will be the starting lineup. I think Camavinga will either get rested or he will get another chance as a left back. I do think this is gonna be the back line. Maybe Camavinga plays instead of Arda or Tchouaméni. We will see. But I think Franco, Mbappe, Vinny will be the starting front three. And I just think Benfica under Jose Mourinho have been nothing short of disappointing. They of course, they don't concede too many goals. 11 is not that bad. Even in the flipping Champions League, they have not been that bad. Once again, am I waffling? See, 6-10. I know it's bad. The goal difference is bad, but they don't concede so many goals. That's what I mean, okay? They just can't score. They don't have anybody to score goals. If you think Pavlidis is gonna do something, yeah, man, just put it in the bag, man. Fries in the bag, Benfica. We are beating you at least 2-1. At least it's gonna be 2-1. Come on, man. Did I predict 2-1 or am I bugging? Okay, 2-1 or 3-1. I'm gonna be shameless and say 3-1. I'm gonna be shameless. I'm gonna say Mbappe will score 2 goals and Franco will get a Champions League goal as well. So, this was my final prediction. You can see it right now for the last time, of course. And then maybe if this actually happens, you know, please glaze me in the comments, and then we can maybe look at, you know, the final bracket, which is gonna be very, very interesting. Now, in my opinion, this is one of the craziest races in the UCL history. So please, if you can make it to my watch along tomorrow, please make it. Like the stream, like the video, subscribe, comment, chat with me on the stream. I appreciate you so much for watching. Let me know down below what your prediction is gonna look like. You can check out the predictor yourself on the Champions League website simulator. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe, as I said before. Love you guys. Peace out.